Once this sheet has dried, you can see all the different techniques. We're going to take out our original image and look at it and decide what techniques are going to be best for each of these objects in this picture. Now we know as artists, we all want to work from the background through the middle ground into the foreground and add all of our details last. It's so tempting for kids to jump straight to this object, whatever the main subject matter is, but try your best to start in the background. I know it's not as exciting to deal with everything back here, but unless you start here, you just have to build up your surface as you go. I'm ignoring everything in the foreground here. So my background is this river and possibly some forest back here. And this is a lot of blurry, dull colors in here. So if I wanted a lot of blurry, dull colors, there's kind of a verticalness to this. I look here and I say, you know what? My graded wash and my wet on wet. These are the two techniques, excuse me, that would probably be good for doing this in the background. So I am going to write on here, graded wash. It's always good to have a plan. Graded wash, and then wet on wet. Next, I look at the next object coming forward, and that's going to be our fox. And I'm looking at our fox and I'm thinking maybe some flat washes, maybe some wet on dry to add some of these, but possibly for that fur texture, maybe some scraping in there. His nose, I can probably maybe use, I don't know, a wax resist if I wanted to just draw those in with a crayon. But otherwise, I'm going to be using a lot of wet on dry to build up the layers of fur and some scraping. So I'm going to put that on here. I know I'm going to use wet on dry and then scraping. In my foreground, I have this rock right here. Now, when we were doing this technique, I said this would be good for any rocks. Do you see all the little edges in here and the shape in here? So I would definitely, I think I'm going to go ahead and use the plastic wrap. So I'm going to write that for my rock. And again, last but not least is our grass. And to me, it's kind of obvious. I think I would use wet on dry. So I would paint in some of these, wait till it dries, and then keep layering some grasses. And I would do it with my edges, wet on dry, and possibly some scraping in there. So let's write this. We'll use edges. For the grass, we'll use wet on dry. And what else did I decide? We were going to use scraping. So please make a plan for yourself. Really look at this image here and think to yourself, what would be the best technique for all this? Over here, maybe some lifting, or I can take a white crayon and make all of these horizontal lines back here in the water so it resists the darker paint that you put over it. So maybe some of these white areas you want to cut out, maybe out of masking tape to save these. And remember, if you are going to use one technique somewhere, you should echo that technique in other places so that nothing sticks out too badly and everything kind of looks like it goes together. We learned that from our favorite Canadian and in his video about echoing. So again, if there's darkness here, in each quadrant, you will put some of that similar color, similar texture, spread it around, spread the love around. So now we have a plan, we've practiced, we have a plan, we are ready to paint. So the next video is going to be me starting to paint this image.